Just play it. Yeah. I know. I know I'm gonna get in trouble, but I love it. It's my favorite song ever. I'm sorry, y'all. My name is Kasabian. Let's get into it. Come on. All right, I'm sorry. I can't help it. You know what else I was listening to before the show started? I was listening to Nate Dogg. Ain't nobody do it better. I mean, bruvs, and bruv. Is it bruvettes? Is it bruvettes? I don't know how to do. But listen, if y'all don't know this song, go get it. Does it better? I can hit the high notes too. Watch. Nobody. I know, I just look ugly in the face, so I can't do it too long. Does it better? All right. That's all. That's it. I'll stop playing. Wait, do a little more. Come closer than close. Yeah. You can't do much in the chair, because if I go crazy, they're gonna be like, "What are you doing? You're gonna knock stuff over. Stop going crazy." And I got hair. We bumping from coast to coast. Tired of people saying that, man. Stupid kids. Just show everybody you're bold already. All right, I'm sorry. I'm not. Punk ass kids. Let's get into the show. We got some topics. Meek Mill. You. Let's get into the show. When you're on the internet, there's two types of Meek Mills you can be. You could be Meek Mill that tells people, let's find this crook, or you could be Meek Mill humping the air on a quad. Either way. Let's get to today's show. Got a new coffee sponsor. We're getting some bills paid.
Lavoe.
Wow.
Kasabian.
Huh?
Lavoe.
Kasabian. Lavoe. Look, I am the one that they look at, cause I'm different. Listen, we already knew that he gifted on a whole nother wave. We hit it concave. Up for days, pseudo insomnia. I really don't sleep. Watching the internet, like that could have been me. The sacrifice that was made. I do this shit like every day. I won't say that I'm rich. Nope. Till I see 20 M's. That's a lot of money. Thought I would have it by now. 31, only 3.5 million right now. I need a milli right now. Take them down to that boogie down. Uptown or downtown. East side. 2-2. Like 2-2. 3-3. East 2. It's Kasabian Lavoe 1. My name is Kasabian Lavoe. Welcome back to the show. I don't know how to start the show like Philip DeFranco and Candace Owens and all them fancy folks. This a hip hop show. We bust shots. Welcome back to the show. We definitely got a bunch of topics to get into. ChatGPT writes the intro. We do the show. I came in singing a little bit of Nate Dogg just to put y'all on to some hip hop. If you ain't know about it, go check out the late great Nate Dogg. What an amazing rapper and a contributor to hip hop music and a genre of music that should come back. The G-Funk. If you don't know nothing about G-Funk, growing up over here in Vegas as a young teenager, I was engulfed into the West Coast music at a delicate time in my life in which I was enriched and I was taught the love of West Coast music. Man, I miss that feeling. When you would hear certain songs come on in your car when you was driving, it's different. But I hope I put y'all on something new today. Shout out to Nate Dogg. Shout out to Nate Dogg's family, Eastside. You know what time it is. ChatGPT writes the intro. We do the show. It is Monday. Last week, things went a little bit crazy, and I'm not going to lie. I might have ran away from it because that's what I do. ChatGPT writes the intro. We do the show. My name's Kasabian. I'm your host with talent on loan from God, but you know that. So let's get into it, and I'm going to do that like 3 or 4 times before we really get started. Welcome back to another electrifying episode of the Kasabian Lavoe Show. I'm your host, Kasabian, and today we got a lineup that's hotter than the Las Vegas sun. Boy, I ain't going to lie, it's hotter than 2 chicks in a Honda Civic with no air conditioner fighting over a Twix. It is disgusting hot outside, and it rained a little bit. It's amazing how the weather is in the desert. First up, a political shakeup like no other. President Biden has dropped out of the race. Could this be Kamala Harris's big moment, or will history repeat itself as we recall her swift exit during the last campaign that she ran. Didn't last too long. Remember that? Next, we'll dive into the wild world of social media, where Meek Mills has literally gone from hero to zero in one post. How did he go from saving the city to looking downright goofy? Then we're calling the elephant in the room. This is it. I've decided, I got to say this. After watching Chris Kirkpatrick dancing at Mall of America with 3 other fake NSYNC dudes, I have to say this. I think Justin Timberlake is the reason why NSYNC's downfall is the way that it is. And I am a firm believer that his ego is the reason why they can't get off the ground. I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm not even hating on NSYNC. I just feel like he thinks he's bigger than the program. I don't think so, fool. And in a twist of tech and talent, Eminem embraces AI. And what does this mean for the future of music? And what does this mean for the rap legend's legacy? He used it well, and I'm very impressed, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you. The Secret Service is under fire, and we're not holding back. Are they really protecting the president, or is there more to this story? Let's dive into our Alex Jones thinking caps. From the music to the mayhem, the Sean Kingston documentary will be phenomenal. But anyway, Sean Kingston finds himself behind bars with his mother for $1 million wiring fraud scheme that, well, what can I say? I guess the beautiful girl singer is definitely, he spent his 15 minutes, right? I mean, completely spent the 15 up. Gone. Anyway, shout out to Sean Kingston, put some money on his JPay. And finally, a heartbreaking, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, and I wrote the word because I wanted to use it. But anyway, before I even get into it, this story bummed me out. I watched the video more than one time to see if maybe I missed something. I'm still, my soul is not well after watching this video. But we're going to cover the heartbreaking story of a black woman that was killed by police after she called them for help. She called them for help, and she ended up being shot in the head or in the face while asking for help. This one really, I don't like these types of stories, and I hate covering them, but I had to. It's way too heavy on me. Stay tuned because the Kasabian Lavoe Show starts now while we dive into these hot topics. Now, listen, when we talk about hot topics, honestly, these are topics that I find interesting, and I don't like to follow the norms. Now, CloudStrike, that giant attack on CloudStrike, or I guess the update malfunction in CloudStrike and what happened with that. This just goes to show that us using one central, like, we just don't learn. Excuse me. We don't learn. And we continue to do things that are not beneficial in so many ways. There would have been a better way to roll out this update. There would have been a million different things that could have happened properly, but didn't. Now, am I surprised that an update went wrong? Never. We have updates that go wrong all the time in the studio. But the fact that you're running so many companies on the same platform should terrify millions of people, even billions of people at this point. Why is everybody using the same system? I don't care how good it is. Maybe don't do the updates for everybody at the same time in a wave like that either, especially without testing it out, troubleshooting it, maybe knowing if your shit works. I didn't want to cover that story because I felt like it was futile when everybody and their mother covered the story. I'm glad that everybody did cover it. I'm glad that we have all that information that led to what happened, which I still don't even know what the fuck it was. But the effects of it really, I think that the worst had to have been hospitals and airports. Go figure. I don't think either of those things should be using the same systems, but they did. And that's terrible. It really is. It's really not. I don't get it. So, Meek Mill, Meek Mill's a special guy to me, and I want to say that because I cover him often because I think he's like the funniest person on the internet. But like 2 weeks ago, we just covered Meek Mill for saying that he was going to put up $1,000 on the dude that busted a nut on the lady's leg inside of the Dollar Tree. Like, that was cool, Meek. That was cool. Now there's a video of him on a quad or a dirt bike humping the air like he's 13. Meek, you're 42 years old. You can't hump the air anymore. That shit looks crazy, dog. We're unks and shit now. We can't be shaking ass like these young dudes. You're not Chris Brown. The fuck is your deal? You can't go hump in the air after offering the city $1,000 for old beat off guy. Come on, dog. Like, for real, that's the funniest shit ever, though. But I don't expect anything less from Meek Mill. I really don't. And I'm not mad at him. I just think it's just funny to see how quickly he turned himself. He turned himself. Um, Two, I got hair. Shut up. Stupid kids like, oh, you're bald. No, I'm not. And I'm wearing my boo-boo cap because I'm wolfing. So how about that, Mr. I'm bald is growing extra hair. And I didn't even go to Turkey. Suck it. Punk ass kid with no followers. Okay, let's get to the seriousness of what has occurred. And I just want to do a little bit of history and a little bit of just chit-chatting with my people. When we started the show, we were heavy into politics, and it definitely got me into a lot of trouble. But I was let's have a fun conversation. I was running for governor. I had a consultant, I had a team that I was building. I was talking to people, talking to attorneys and stuff. I was like really putting it together to really run for governor. I told a bunch of people I was doing it. I was gung-ho and doing it. COVID hit. I turned away. I was like, fuck this. I don't want to do it. On top of just looking at how politics run and work wasn't for me. So I walked away. I humbly bowed out. Not my position. But I did attempt to run for governor and started some shit. Anyway, I had a conversation with my mother over Biden essentially giving up, right? Let's just call it what it is. Joe Biden has left the race, in which I don't believe he was in. But the conversation with my mother was interesting because my mother doesn't know me, not even a little bit. This lady is just the person that made me, and we have literally lived lives that have nothing to do with each other, to the point where I realize where the failures of my family have begun. If your family doesn't understand that judges get paid to be in good favor with certain business people, then your family probably doesn't have a lot of money. I'm completely being honest with you. If anybody in your family, including yourself, thinks that it's odd that a judge that has power in your city is not being favored or taken care of by other business folk because they know that having him in their favor or her in their favor is a good thing, it just shows the reason as to why our family's generation begins with me and my wife and not with my grandparents or my mother and my father. They didn't start anything. They didn't build any businesses. No one took any initiative to do anything that would be beneficial for anything. It just, you have to know these things. When I opened my furniture store, the first thing that I started to do was play golf next to the courthouse, downtown Vegas, Desert Pines. I would go there. I would go to Summerlin and play in Summerlin. I would go play at Desert Ridge when I would be able to get in. I would play games over at the Wynn. Listen, you run into these people everywhere, and then you make friends. I was the cool rapper guy. You want to know what my problem was as a furniture store owner? I realized that people wanted to use me as opposed to utilize me, and I wasn't an asset. Very difficult to make friends when all they want is discounts on your furniture, and they're not looking at you as a business person, but an opportunity. I stopped looking for friends when I didn't know how to capitalize on what I had. And being a rapper wasn't enough. I didn't like that. Anyway, I only say that to say, if you don't understand why a judge is getting paid or getting taken care of by business folk in your town, the reason is because they need that judge to pass favorable laws for those businesses. And if you're a working class person, you're going to want that business person to get the good laws that increase their business to pay you better to be passed. And that's just how shit goes. Whoever's in charge is always going to get a bag. It might not be the most ethical, but hey, if you send a guy a steak that happens to be in charge of the area in which you're trying to convert a building into a mixed use, or you're trying to convert an old school into a condominium, you may want to get him a T-bone or maybe even a big ass. I don't know. Maybe he's a vegan, but you know, a good ribeye wouldn't hurt. I'm just saying. But anyway, I digress. I only say that a lot of business occurs on the golf course, and it's good to know who the judges are and who's in charge in your area, especially locally. I know a lot of people worry about the presidential races, but listen, if you're a business person and you don't know who's in charge of your area and who's working on the streets, the roads, the taxes in your little area, you're fucking up as a person. You should know exactly who's making what. Like, there's a guy in our neighborhood, I'm not going to say his name, but he takes a lot of credit for things that were already in motion, and we give it to him. Everybody's like, shout out to him. Good for him. Our neighborhood's been under construction since we moved in here. It's still new. So things just occur, and this guy just happened to run for the position. He won. I didn't vote for him, but many people did. He did win the position, and he takes credit for a lot of the shit that occurs in the Southwest here in Vegas. But just kind of smile and let him. It's like, good job, dog. I'm glad you were here. We appreciate you. President Biden leaving the race doesn't affect anything. The Democrats have done nothing. They haven't built a base. They haven't even provided any information for a clear-cut out for inflation. They haven't even given us a plan on how we're going to attack inflation. The Democratic Party hasn't done anything to prove that they can even stop inflation and adjust, pivot, and then hopefully come out of this recession to a greater pasture and a greater prosperous fucking future for at least 5 to 6 years. We'll find another recession later, but right now we have a lot to worry about. And the Democratic Party doesn't have a fucking leg to stand on. If Kamala Harris had 3 feet, she wouldn't have a leg to stand on. Let's just keep it a buck. Kamala Harris couldn't make it out of the first debate when she ran for president last time. Kamala Harris has been more detrimental to colored people in this country, Spanish and black, for longer than fucking Biden himself. Kamala Harris was more detrimental to California than earthquakes and fires. What the fuck are we talking about? Joe Biden was more detrimental to the country without me saying for the past 3.5 years, Joe Biden has proved every single point that I've made about the Democratic Party come true. The worst part of it is that it's affected my savings and my children's lives because they're now 18, 19, and beginning their lives understanding that the president and the powers that be are complete fucking idiots. Sorry for the verbiage that I'm using. I'm just highly upset. Kamala Harris is a disgrace. Kamala Harris. I do apologize because I don't want to say your name wrong, but I'm not impressed with anything you've done. In 4 years, I've probably seen her 3 times. She hasn't done anything, not because she can't, but because she just doesn't do anything. You have a job. Get shit done. She ruined California. She's ruined the United States because we can't take credit for the good without speaking on the bad. So let's put on the table all the great things the Democrats have done. All right, let's move on. Not much. Now, what I'm concerned about is the naysayers thinking that putting money on Kamala Harris is going to do any good. Can we please go back to the days of people getting jobs and people getting positions because they're good at what they do, not because of the color of their skin or the gender or the type of people they want to sleep with? It just doesn't make sense that we keep on moving so emotionally. Can we have rational conversations? And my mother, 60-year-old American woman, is telling me that we're going to be ran under a democracy under Trump after he already ran 4 years, 4 amazing, free, patriotic years. They really happened. Like, we were all there. It wasn't not a thing. Kamala Harris got more people locked up in California for drugs and for petty charges that did. Kamala Harris was a dirty attorney, a dirty judge. She was never, oh man. There's no point to speak badly about her, but the Democratic Party has done nothing for themselves. The party's falling apart. Now, don't get me wrong, the Republican Party isn't doing any better, but they at least have a plan, and that plan will be executed, and that plan will work. The difference is that the Republican Party has an image issue. They don't know who they are. They're trying to figure it out. At the moment, they're really dealing with a lot of image issues, but they'll figure it out. The Democrats just have nothing. There's no plan. There's no nothing. According to them, this is the best country in the world. This is the worst country in the world. We donate to everybody but ourselves. We're not worth saving, but we should save this. I mean, everything they do is so oxymoronic that it'll break your brain. And to think that the intelligentsia has followed along with this shit long enough, it's like, are we really going to sit here and think we're going to promote Kamala Harris to help and do what? Just show me the plan. And please stop telling me about that whole 2025 thing. I don't see anybody else talking about it but kooky people that think it's a thing. I don't. Anyway, I didn't want to get caught up in the politic thing. I thought it was funny that my mom doesn't understand why people pay judges. I found it funny that my mom didn't know that I've been a registered conservative for almost 20, well, no, excuse me, not 20 years. Since I was 18, that was 2008. Let me not make shit up. That's almost 10 years now, right? 2008. I voted for fucking Obama. That was my first presidential vote. I voted locally for the mayor, And then I voted for Obama. That was my first time voting. And I was actually undecided then. And I mean, I think 2010 is when I decided that I was more of a conservative / Republican. I didn't really know my party too well. And I do believe that I'm a conservative. And I do believe that I lean more towards smaller government, towards investing in the United States people, towards more freedoms and more choices for our people and more security for our people. You see, I believe in us. It's just a strong thing. I really believe in us. Always have. Yes, a Puerto Rican from the Bronx with face tattoos and all this. Yeah, I'm a conservative. I've owned businesses. I worked very hard at my businesses. I closed those businesses for mental reasons because I couldn't handle it and because I didn't know what I was doing. I just tried things and it fucking worked. Story of my life. I swing, I miss, I hit. I'm not afraid to fail, and it's a superpower. And I think that's why when I got into politics, it made sense for me to lean conservative. It's just, listen, I don't care about the whole race baiting and that debate. I grew up in the ghetto. I saw what it was. We all grew up on fucking housing and food that wasn't worth the fuck. And the government hasn't done anything to help anything. Every bad neighborhood that I ever knew as a child is still a bad neighborhood. They haven't made them better. I'm not even that old, but they didn't take care of the east side. Shit, my apartment that we grew up in on the east side where I had my kids was supposed to get not ran over, but it was supposed to be flattened and the freeway was supposed to go over it. I haven't been able to buy that damn building because the owner won't let it go because he knows the freeway eventually is supposed to go over that. So they're going to buy him out. The problem is the property ain't worth more than $120K, and right now it's like $500,000. I'm not giving that motherfucker $500,000 for that. I'm just not doing it. Now, we got a couple stories today that I definitely want to get into, and I'm super excited about. Eminem, being the legend that he is, actually used AI with his recent project. Let's talk about it.
Okay. I do it on my lonely. When you on top, it get lonely.
Story is out of Complex. Eminem has been on a farewell tour of sorts for his alter ego Slim Shady. But Slim has made a comeback after his death. 25 years since we were first introduced to him in Eminem's video for My Name Is, the debut single for the 1999's The Slim Shady LP. What an amazing album. Great album. Great album. In the visuals for The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Gras, album cut Houdini, Slim marked his return, apparently seemingly in the flesh. Alongside Marshall Mathers in the video, a young Shady travels into time to the present day, and he and Eminem go back and forth, lifting lyrics from the 2002 song Without Me Part 2. The Detroit native used AI and the company Metaphysic. That's a cool name. Scott writes that the artificial intelligence company, which was founded in 2021, offers a suite of tools to allow artists to create and manage digital versions of themselves that can be manipulated and used for their own projects or to be licensed out to third parties for movies, TV shows, commercials, and other projects. That's pretty interesting. And ownership. The fact that he owns this and this isn't something that somebody stole and made AI is pretty dope. So shout out to Eminem using AI. We use AI on this show. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's probably the reason why I don't put more time into the show than I should. And I haven't been motivated because of my stupid day job and me trying to conquer my day job. But we definitely use AI. I mean, for the 3 hours that we put into the show here with editing, pre-pro, blah, 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 4 hours. I mean, we get talked about all week for it. So, I mean, we do something well, but we definitely use AI in a positive fashion here. Secret Service is under a lot of scrutiny at the moment. The United States former president was shot in the ear, almost shot in the head, and we have a department of people that swear to give their life to protect that person. No matter who it is, that's their job. You chose that job. On that day when the former president was shot in the ear, I saw a Secret Service agent not even holster their weapon properly. I saw Donald Trump's face too many times after he got shot. You don't watch movies? Do you know what happens if you can still see their face? They can get their head fucking blown up. Like, why don't you know that? Why, if Donald Trump is 6 foot, all his bodyguards should be 6'2", 6'3", not 5'5" women. I'm sorry. I'm all for equality. But if I'm not even 6 foot. I'm only 5'6". But don't put no 4 foot lady to protect my brains when somebody just shot at me. I want somebody that's twice my size covering me, not smaller than me, letting my face get all exposed and shit. Anyway, the Secret Service has honestly embarrassed us in front of the entire world. An 18-year-old little boy with pimples shot at the president and hit him. You're the Secret Service. For the first time ever, the committee actually agreed on both sides. There was partisanship. In this house, bro, there's never, every heated debate that you've ever seen that goes to the Hill, that goes into the White House, that faces this room, it's crazy. It's always chaos. They all agreed. You guys are idiots. Stories out of the Hill. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle faced growing bipartisan, that to me is an amazing statement. Growing bipartisanship. Calling for her resignation during a brutal hearing on Monday on the attempted assassination of former President Trump. Lawmakers from both parties of the House Oversights and Accountabilities Committee, which is known for its fiery hearings and partisan rhetoric, expressed exacerbation, frustration, and at times disbelief at Cheadle's testimony. Don't get me wrong, even I had nothing to say. I was completely blown away at how well everybody did on both sides to tell this lady that she didn't know how to do her job. And again, it's not because of who she is. I don't know this person. If she had the correct background and had the real, like, for example, every time a casino closes in Las Vegas, a lot of people keep putting that shit on their resume saying that they used to work there. There's going to be a lot of district managers and like money accountants that never ever touch the dime, but they show resumes with the Tropicana and the Mirage. It's just not a thing. This lady worked at Walmart or something and then got the job because she was a lady. That's what I'm assuming. I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But from what I saw, that shit was Bush League and tomfoolery at its best. You don't have to like the person, but your job is your job. Besides not protecting Donald Trump, you still have to protect anybody that's up there. That's your job. You're sworn to doing that. You did a shit job, and for the first time, you were able to unify the Democrats and the Republicans. The committee is not known, this is in quotes, the committee is not known for its model of bipartisanship, but we came together unanimously in our disappointment for your lack of answers. Cheadle, who has been in her role for just less than 2 years, admitted that the assassination attempt was the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades. This is probably worse than when JFK was shot. That's how bad this is. Trump wasn't murdered, but he did lose an ear hole, or he has now a new ear hole. The Secret Service's sole mission is to protect our nation's leader, and on July 13th, we failed. She said this in her opening statements. As the director of the United Secret Service, I take full responsibility for any security lapses of our agency. She should have just said, I quit immediately thereafter and just not said anything else. The excuses about the pitch and just the one lady that was like, you're full of shit. You know that? That lady's great. Give her a statue in her hometown. Honestly, it just looked like wrong person for the job, wrong person to explain what occurred. I mean, the pitch of the roof, there was like 80-year-old men on top of the roof looking down. Nobody was sliding. Nobody was moving. Your excuses were futile. Nobody checked. Nobody cared. It's embarrassing what y'all did. We're being laughed at on the world stage. That's all that's occurring. It's embarrassing, y'all. It really is. But hey, if that would have been Biden, he would have been toast. Okay. He can't move quick. Biden is stuck. It's terrible.
I do it on my lonely. When you on top, it get lonely.
Sean Kingston steals. I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all that. I'm serious. That's all I known him for. Let me tell you something. One of the most disappointing things that happened to me when I went into business was finding out that most rappers, 99% of them, are broke. That's the truth. Bad credit. I love this one. My credit's bad, but my money's good. If your money's good, then you should go pay the people you owe so that your credit is good. Rappers are broke. When I was selling houses, wasn't none of them buying houses. When I was selling furniture, wasn't none of them buying furniture either. I learned a lot about rappers. Being a rapper and making money was odd because a lot of them didn't make money. I preferred to make money than be famous, and making $2,000 a week was suffice for my life. Unlike Sean Kingston, stories out of Vibe. Sean Kingston has been indicted on federal wire fraud charges stemming from a $1 million scheme in which the defendants defrauded victims of pricey items, including luxury cars and jewelry. Rappers have done this forever. You know, I need a car for a video, or I need some jewelry to look cool. The problem is, Sean Kingston ain't put out a song since Beautiful Girl in 2007. On Friday, July 19th, the 34-year-old singer and his mother appeared in a Miami federal court and were charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 5 counts of wire fraud. Both Kingston and his mother faced up to 20 years in prison for each count of if convicted. According to the case, Kingston and his mother acquired more than $1 million in vehicles, jewelry, and other goods from unsuspecting sellers through the usage of fraudulent documents of Kingston's celebrity status. Listen, rappers do this all the time. I got more free stuff when I was active as a rapper and had a majority of my money. I got free clothes, free backpacks, free everything that you could imagine. And when I'm not doing anything and I'm not active, I'm pulling teeth trying to get sponsors. I just got this coffee sponsor. I'll talk about it on the next episode. I'm trying to get Dawn dish soap. I've been a proponent of Dawn dish soap my whole life. I tell my wife all the time, Dawn dish soap is used on ducks. It's got to be the best soap in the world to use it on ducks. I stand by that. And I want a $10 million, 2.5-year deal. And I'm only saying that because I'm full of shit. I don't know what Dawn would give me. But if Dawn wants to lock me in for life as not a brand ambassador, I don't want no stupid deal like that. No, I want them to sponsor my show and to help this thing grow. We'll take $10 million a year for the first year and we'll negotiate from there. Serious. I love Dawn dish soap. And I'm saying this because I really want that contract. If y'all see me starting the show, washing shit with Dawn dish soap, just know that this worked, okay? But anyway, you get more free shit when you're popular and when you're popping. Lying to jewelers and lying to car dealerships or people that have a lot of stuff, very common as rappers do. I mean, literally, that's how most rappers survive. They trick women into living in their house. They trick women into using their car, their money. It's pretty funny that most rappers have to do that. That shit, I mean, it's... I mean, they try. Then they end up getting a job at Amazon. Or they cook or whatever they say. Now, the last story of the day is heartbreaking, to say the least. And I don't cover these types of stories. I've stopped covering murders and stuff and children getting hurt. I don't cover that anymore. I don't like to. It's not interesting to me. People die every day. When I watched this video, it made me sick. Describing it to my wife, it made me sick. I rebuke you. I rebuke you. There's nothing that was said there to get shot in the face. When a person is asking for help, why are they the ones that get hurt? This is so odd to me. Not because she's a black woman, not because they said it was a mental health situation. This is from reading it. Just watching it, the whole shit felt off. I called because I felt like somebody broke into my house, or I thought somebody broke into my house, and I'm asking for help. The police come out. They do their investigation. They end up in my house asking me for information. Somehow, asking for my information, the person that's calling for help, causes them to be alarmed, or at least one of the officers to be alarmed, in which that officer drew his weapon and fired and ended that lady's life because she said, "I rebuke you." Let's read the story. We'll talk about it some more. I was just in shock. nothing happened for that lady to be treated that way. And for her life to be taken was completely unacceptable. Stories out of The Guardian. Authorities have released shocking video that shows a white police officer in Illinois shooting a black woman who called police in fear of a home intruder. He shot her in the face, and she was calling because somebody may have broken into her house. Sonia Messi, 36, my age, was killed early on the morning of the 6th of July by Deputy Sean Grayson of the, what, do I even care about this? Sean Grayson got fired. Thank the fucking Lord. Let me just tell you that we'll skip forward to that. That piece of shit got fired. Let me tell you why. First off, the victim's daughter confirmed that I hate this. The victim's daughter confirmed that she had paranoid schizophrenia. And knowing that, I feel like that should be a different call immediately. But I don't fucking get it. I've preached about police training and how police should be trained 4 times a week and only operate 3 times a week. I believe in that wholeheartedly. I do believe that police should go through 2 to 3 to 4 years of training before they're allowed to carry a gun and go outside. I do believe that police need to train more than they need to be police, and they should not be police for longer than fucking 10 years. That job should have an expiration date, and they should move the fuck on safely. She called the police because she thought someone had broken into her home. When the police arrived, they began looking through Massey's home with a flashlight. A neighbor, Cheryl, told The Guardian that Evans wondered why the police hadn't knocked on her door, as they typically have done in the past when searching for suspects. Honestly, if somebody thinks somebody was breaking into the house, or if the police are coming out to investigate a break-in, they should be checking the neighbors' houses and make sure all the neighbors are good. Eventually, Grayson, who is white, and his partner entered the home. They began to speak to Massey. Now, when they come in to ask for her information, the 2 officers are standing across from each other. One of them looks over and sees that she has boiling water on the stove. He says, "Ma'am, before you finish getting your ID out of your purse, can you turn that water off so we don't have a fire? Because I see that water is boiling, and I wouldn't want to have a fire while we're here." A very odd statement by a police officer, when in all reality, this is why I say training is so key. You should have said, "Ma'am, if you don't mind, may I go turn off that stove? I really don't feel comfortable with the stove on while we're speaking. Can we just shut it off? And then once everything is done, you can get back to cooking." That's the proper way to handle it. No, they gave orders so that the lady would walk into the kitchen and turn off the stove herself. She turned off the stove. She picked up the pot of water in what seemed to be her grabbing the hot water and pouring it out, because what's the point of having it sitting there? Which I don't see what went wrong. I don't get it. All she said was, "Why are you moving back?" Because when she went over there, one of the officers kind of stepped back, and she said, "Why are you moving back for?" And he goes, "Because you got boiling water." I get it. But then she said, "I rebuke you." He got offended. And he said, "What? I'll shoot you in the fucking face. I swear to God." And she said, "I rebuke you." And then he pulled his gun, and she said, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" She crouched down. She said something else. But I thought she said, "Oh my," no, she said, "Oh my God, I'll stop." She crouches down, and they cut the tape. They come back, and she's gone. That lady wasn't going to hit him with that boiling water. I have so many questions as to why that was even done. I don't get it. I don't get it. When you watch it, she literally goes to turn it off, says what she says, and he gets so offended by her saying, "I rebuke you," that he killed her. I'm glad that he's in jail. I'm glad that they're going to press all the charges on him, and I hope they bury his ass in the jail for what he did. This doesn't make it no better that he's getting arrested and going to jail. I'm glad he is, because, yeah, justice was served, but at the same time, how sad is it that a woman called because she was in fear and lost her life because of this fucking ignorant thug? Y'all are worried about a president becoming a dictator. There's so much shit that would need to happen for any president to become a dictator. Please miss me with that shit. Pay attention to your local police. Pay attention to your local elections. Be careful who you put in charge. Be careful who they allow to be police officers. I highly, highly stand by more training, more training, more training, more training. I don't give a fuck. I think they give out police badges too freely. That's how I feel. I think Las Vegas does an amazing job of their police. We've always had a great police department. We don't have mishaps in that fashion. And I don't know what other cities are doing, but Metro does it pretty solid. Can't complain. So when I'm saying that police need more training and better training, I'm usually not speaking about Vegas. They do pretty well here. But when I see shit like this, that was just ignorant. She got shot in the head. He said, go get the kit. When his partner goes, you shot her in the head. What kit? There's no kit. You shot her in the head. She's dead. That was the conversation that I saw the conversation. I was sick. I have a problem with this type of shit. I really do. And it's hard for me to express it because I say these things and I feel like people listen, but they don't. There's no malice in me when I say that I want police to be trained better. We need police. There's times where, as a citizen, I'm putting in for safety for all of us. So if we feel like somebody's in our neighborhood starting shit, I don't want to have to blow this kid's brain away for trying to rob in my neighborhood. Come do your job. Luckily in Las Vegas, they do. No complaints. Sorry. I've had my run-ins with them when I was younger. I ain't gonna lie, they were a little more racist back then. That I could admit. I lived in the ghetto. That probably had something to do with them being so racist. But, I mean, well, you know what? Let me not say that. It was good police work. I got pulled over in a $500,000 car. You think man, listen, I ain't playing with the police. Be nice. Don't do things that's going to hurt other people. Just do whatever you do that makes you happy. Do it. Just don't bother nobody and don't hurt nobody. That shit, that pisses me off. Y'all could do things where you could literally do anything today. Anything. You have the opportunity to do anything. I literally argue with my kids so that they can do anything because everything is available for them to do. Same for you. There's nothing stopping you. Promise. I promise. I have done so much shit that I look back and go, who the fuck do you think you are? You should do the same with yourself. Promise. Just do something different. Everybody's worried about the president. Man, y'all better better yourselves. Read more books. Learn about money. And understand that things are cyclical. And we'll talk more politics. But that's the show. Let me find a song.
Oh, God. Okay. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I hit it on the Lola.
Yeah.
She keep me on a
Lolo.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That was the show. I really hate doing those bummed out stories. I thought it'd be funnier to talk about Meek Mill's humping the air on the quad because he was looking like a real schlum. My bad. Hold on. Let me stop the music. My bad. It's loud as shit. But I can't not let certain stories go by. But I do want to apologize for bumming out, just like making everybody feel bummed out. I promise y'all that was not my goal. But my name is Kasabian. Live in the moment, don't live in the past. Be safe, stay dangerous. Lavoe loves you. One. I promise y'all it's better when you try. Just try.